There you are, defense. You're free to examine it.
Me? If I don't find something now, my entire argument up to this point will be blown. Plus, there's that little matter of the old tongue shears. Oh, okay. I have to find something. I just have to. Now, to make sure I remember how to do this, I can rotate the evidence by sliding the touch screen. I can zoom in and out with the slider on the left 2 to get a better look. And if I ever get too turned around, I can always touch reset to return things to this initial state. I better search every inch of this box carefully and touch anything of interest to check it out in detail. Okay, so let's look here. Oh, I see. Okay, interesting. This is the lock. It was forced open. I don't really see anything else to note about it. Okay. Let's look at all these bloody bloods. Or just this. Huh. The lid of the box was forced open, but while the victim was holding the box, the lid must have been closed. Oh, we can see the handprint. I'll try closing the lid too. Look, 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 you can see where the fingers are. And it's gonna become really obvious once the lid's closed. You can see his hand. Hey! Well, what? You son of a, you locked it! Don't you have the key? So? What's the big deal? I thought you could open it with that key you're wearing.
Yeah, I can, no sweat!
Or can you? Then why is there a bucket load dripping off you over there? Why are you sweating so much? Mr. Metallica, I think I'd like to open this box back up again. Could you lend me your Magatama key? Sure! Okay, let's see. Where's the keyhole?
Well, it's the Magatama key. So wouldn't it go in the hole above the Magatama mark?
Awkward. This is awkward. Huh? It won't open.
Would you look at that? The thief must have busted the lock when they forced the lock open. Wah!
Really? Because I'm not so sure about that. Treasure box updated. The Magatama, not even the Magatama key can open it. In any case, I'd better take another good look. I have to find proof the victim was holding this box. We've got that. We see the hand. Look at this. Do you see this hand? Look at how clear this hand is. That's so clear. This blood stain, it shows the outline of a hand in the negative space of where the blood isn't. It's, boop, you can see the shape of a hand right there. Could this be what I've been looking for? Your Majesty, take a look at this. There's a blood stain here that outlines the shape of a hand.
Really? Let me see that. Oh my, you're right.
Now I'm getting somewhere. I believe the bloodstain is an outline of the victim's hand as he was holding the box.
What?
Even as he was being struck, he held on tight to the precious treasure box. After all, he'd gone through a lot of trouble to steal it. The blood from his head wound splattered across his hand and onto the box. Polkunka is correct.
Your Majesty, don't let yourself be taken in. It's just more of his lawyerly deceit.
What do you mean?
Mr. Wright, where is your proof that the outline is that of the victim's hand?
It's the blood on his other glove in the photograph. What? I should have seen this coming.
Either show proof or prepare to meet the shears. Or you could save us all some time and bite your tongue out now and submit that instead.
Well, defense, how about it? Do you have proof that the outline is of the victim's hand?
Yes, the thing that I submitted earlier, I will submit now. I was close. I was on the right track. They were just being very specific. Please
Submit your evidence at this time. What evidence shows that the outline on the treasure box is that of the victim's hand?
It is the photograph of the crime scene. I've got it. This is the evidence that's gonna save my beloved tongue. Mr. Payne, despite your claims about my forked tongue, it just so happens I have the proof you require.
You do? Oh, geez.
It's right here in this crime photo.
It is? Where? Defense, please point it out. I can't see it.
What proves the bloodstain outline on the box is that of the victim's hand, you ask? Why, it's very clearly right here. The bloody hand. Mr. Payne, take a good look at the victim's hand. See this? That's blood. Our favorite.
What?
If we place Mr. Roll's hand inside the bloody outline...
You think the blood on his hand would complete the splatter?
Exactly. Here goes nothing. And if they do form one complete splatter, it would prove my theory correct.
Then, the victim really was holding the box.
I'm willing to bet my life on it. As I have been doing this whole time, the defense reasserts that the victim was the thief who stole the treasure box.
You can't be serious!
That was good. It was subtle. I like that.
I protest. There's no way they would ever match up. A hand on a handprint? No way. I assert that it's patently impossible for...
Talk about tongue karma. Sounds like he just bit his. What's the matter, Mr. Payne? Did your forked tongue get tangled up in there? Or were you trying to submit your own tongue to the court? Oh, it's definitely a toupee. That's been long established.
Why you?
I can hardly believe it. Apparently, not everything out of the defense's mouth is a bluff.
Of course not, Your Majesty. This tongue doesn't lie. It speculates a lot, but it does not lie. I'd like to continue to use my tongue in the future, too, if you wouldn't mind. He never has to know it really was a bluff.
No, not Mr. Roll. I can't believe it.
I'm sorry, Albie. I know it's upsetting news. He must have needed the money, badly. Probably to support his family. After all, he even gave up his dream of becoming a monk to help them.
Oh, so that thing Mr. Roll would say to me. Albie, you train hard and make sure you become a monk one day. Don't end up like me, he'd say.
Yeah, he was probably warning you not to end up a thief.
Mr. Roll.
Now wait just 1 minute. If the victim was the thief and he was holding the treasure box, then that means Mr. Roll was holding the murder weapon when he was killed.
Oh, that's a very good point. It doesn't make much sense, does it?
If the victim was holding the treasure box, it couldn't have been the murder weapon. Which means the real murder weapon must have been something else.
The real murder weapon?
Was something else?
The blood was thought to have gotten on the box when the box was used as a weapon. But it turns out that wasn't the case. The blood splattered onto the treasure box the victim was holding when he was struck with the real weapon. That's what really happened. Isn't that right, Mr. Understanding? Can we see the backside of your, whatever you're calling your guitar? Matama?
Are you insinuating I'm the one who used this, a real weapon, like some kind of an axe?
Are you saying I'm wrong in my understanding?
You got me riled up, lawyer man. I feel a song coming on.
Alright, it's about time. I guess.
Looking for a weapon that just don't exist. Pathetic lawyer man, drop into the abyss. Despicable lawyer man, you make me sick. You can just disappear like a magic trick. Worthless lawyer man, done it by a weapon. For you miserable wretch, hell doth beckon.
I was curious. So there's nothing obvious on the back of his guitar. So,
I know I don't need to remind you, defense, that your life is on the line.
I know, your majesty.
Yet you're prepared to risk it on this mere idea of a real murder weapon? Death to the lawyer!
This is it. The moment of truth. I can't back down. Not now. Yes, your majesty. I am. I'm confident the real murder weapon does indeed exist.
That's a bold claim, Mr. Wright. Now let's see you back it up. Show us which piece of evidence points to this real murder weapon.
Gladly! If I knew which one it was, which I don't. What would somebody like Understanding use to bludgeon someone? A guitar? I suspect a guitar.
Now then, defense, please submit your evidence to the court. Yeah, let's see it, lawyer man. Let's see this thing that shows the real murder weapon you say I used.
I think we're gonna actually submit this photo. Unless it was the Magatama key? Is that what broke the key? It's either the guitar or the key. I didn't even think about the key until I saw it just now. Oh, look at this other guitar that he has. I don't know if you guys can see this photo. Down here. But he's using a different guitar in this photo than he's using. Like, currently he's got this guy. But he has a very, it's like a flying V electric guitar over here. That seems important enough that I'm gonna risk presenting it, even if it's wrong. That's a good sign. What I'm about to present is really nothing more than a possibility. But this thin thread is all I've got. It wasn't the key. I just dodged a bullet there. Allow me to direct the court's attention to this photo of the morning of the Dance Revolution. Dance of Devotion.
That photo? How is that gonna help you, Mr. Wright?
There's something about it that doesn't sit right with me.
Hey, oh yeah? And what's this something,
A little pause there. Not feeling so confident, are we? This thing here is odd, to say the least. I would say it is a teenage girl doing a dance? No, it's this guitar. Look at how different that is than the one he's holding. It means he broke the other guitar, probably. Mr. Understanding, why is the instrument you're holding different from the one you're playing in this photo?
Would you look at that? They're completely different shapes.
I believe you said your Damalon was your one and only. But there's more than one Damalon. There's a different Damalon.
Well, Mr. Understanding, what do you have to say to that? Hehe! I got nothing to say!
Then allow me to answer for you. They're different because the one in the photo is no longer in playable condition. Someone lit it on fire in the middle of a show, and it contained crucial... Wait, nope, sorry, wrong trial! Okay, no. Wow. Kabong! El Kabong strikes again! Not after you use it to bludgeon Mr. Roll to death metal.
I'll blame it on the child.
My old partner was doing so hot, so I brought her sister along, that's all!
Not a big deal, lawyer man!
In that case, please submit your old Damalon to this court as evidence.
I got my Damalon all along. Too bad you're too late.
I got rid of her yesterday. Oh! Yeah? That's not suspicious at all. You what?
Burned her up with the rest of the trash.
Ashes to ashes, baby. Ha-ha! No! He's already destroyed the evidence.
And I see more trash right here in this court that needs to burn in the fires of hell! Lawyer trash!
Now there's no proof to show.
Oh, come on! That was pathetic. Your agony can sound better than that.
Where's that great scream of yours? This can't be how it ends.
I think I've heard enough. It seems the defense is unable to produce the evidence it needs to prove its assertion.
But, Your Majesty, that's only because the witness destroyed it.
Evidence is everything in court. That's the song we sing when we're being douchebags in the court of law. Don't tell me you've forgotten this most fundamental principle of our profession.
Without sufficient proof, your claim that Mr. Understanding is the murderer is no more than conjecture.
There's the pained expression I've been looking for. Oh, it sustains me in these dark times. By the way, there seems to be one more thing that you're forgetting.
What is it now?
You accused Mr. Understanding of being the thief, but the real thief turned out to be the victim.
Uh-oh.
And with that, Mr. Understanding's purported motive for murder goes out the window. Oh no.
Ow! Great point, prosecutor! You tell him. If I had been there, I would have just collared Roll and gotten the treasure back.
Unless you were working together.
There wasn't any reason for me to kill him now!
Was there?
Yeah, baby.
There's no good counter-argument to that.
It sounds to me like Mr. Understanding has been completely wrongfully accused. Unfortunate as it may be, I think it's time to hand down the verdict in this case.
Not good. Not good.
Defense, I trust you understand what you yourself will receive for taking on this case.
No. No. Death! Cake! Give me cake instead! I don't know! No! Please! No! What can I do? The murder weapon's been destroyed. And now I've got no motive. Poor Albie will be convicted. And I'll lose my life too, so that's also very bad. Albie, I'm liking you slightly less now, sorry.
Mr. Wright, you've wasted this court's time and disparaged everything we hold sacred. We should charge you with a less majesty, in addition to the crime of abetting the accused.
Yeah, you should pay for desecrating my good name, the good name of peace, love, and understanding. Bye-bye, lawyer man. Time for you to do some repenting in the Twilight Realm.
You can hang out with... Whoa. Are we gonna see Magatama? This guy is guilty as sin. I just know it! He must have had some reason to kill Mr. Roll, but what?
Come on, people, let me hear you scream and shout! Time to take this lawyer trash out!
Exterminate! Annihilate! Exterminate! Annihilate! It's if Queen was a Dalek. The thing to do at a time like this is to turn my thinking around. Is it time for laser brain? I shouldn't be trying to figure out what Andestandin's motive was. I should be thinking about what kind of situation would give him a motive.
Did you steal it? He said.
We know that Mr. Roll was the thief, and that he had gotten his hands on the box. So then why? Why in the world did he ask Albie that question? What about the treasure box would have prompted him to... Ah!
Defense! What's gotten into you?
Now I get it. Now it all makes sense.
Like Pokunka, man, what you trying to say? Muttering and squealing to yourself sounds like you knocked something loose upstairs.
Your Majesty, please hold off on your ruling for just a little while longer.
Don't tell me you're going to start begging for your life now.
No, Your Majesty, that's not it. It's just that I realized something important. We've been operating under a serious misconception this whole time.
A misconception, you say?
That's right. A mistaken notion about the treasure box. But could this really be true? If so, there's still a lot to figure out.
Very well. Let's hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, this is just more of his nonsense. He's just stalling for time.
This is your last chance, Defense. The second I find it really is nothing but nonsense. No amount of begging will stay my hand. Understand?
Yes, Your Majesty.
We all know this is just going to be another one of your stupid bluffs.
Now then, Defense, what is this misconception you mentioned?
The thing we didn't realize about the treasure box was that it was empty. It was empty already. He stole the outer casing, but when he opened it, the actual treasure was already gone. Not that it wouldn't open, it was gone. It was just already empty. That's why he asked if Albie had stolen it. What if the treasure box was already empty from the start?
What?
What?
Please recall, that's when Mr. Roll ran into Albie on the great stairs. He asked the boy a question.
Did you steal it? He said.
Also recall that Mr. Roll was holding the treasure box at the time. So why then did he ask Albie the question that he did?
That is a bit peculiar, isn't it?
Not at all, Your Majesty. Not once you realize that by the time Mr. Roll got to the treasure room, the treasure box was already empty.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Roll suspected that Albie had gotten to it first, which is why he confronted Albie when he ran into the boy on the stairs.
But how would the victim have known the treasure box was empty? He didn't have any way of opening it.
Once a year, the victim had the duty of carrying the treasure box to the palace.
He was so proud when he was put in charge of guarding the treasure box. He even got to carry the box to the palace for the New Year's rite.
He would have been able to tell by the weight when he lifted it that the box was empty.
I see. Yes, I suppose he would have been able to tell, wouldn't he?
Mr. Roll most likely decided to at least steal the empty box. It's an important historical artifact in and of itself, after all.
Yeah, but what's your point, Mr. Wright? What does any of this have to do with Mr. Understanding?
My point is this. It gave Mr. Understanding a motive to murder the victim.
A motive?
Mr. Understanding, keeping the treasure safe is one of your duties, isn't it? So if anyone had found out that the treasure was missing, you would have been accused of incompetence. At the worst. From the moment Mr. Roll discovered that the treasure was gone, his fate was sealed. Because you decided then that he had to be silenced forever.
But that's absurd!
Oh, tables are kind of turning a little bit.
Can you believe the stuff that comes out of this guy's mouth? This is all just a colossal joke. So then, what really happened to the treasure?
It had been stolen long before this incident occurred. By Mr. Peace-loving Understanding himself.
Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to accuse Mr. Understanding? Your Majesty, please don't listen to these trumped-up charges the defense is grasping.
The treasure box can only be opened with the key Mr. Understanding holds. Who else could have stolen the treasure?
As I said, the accused stole the treasure by forcing open the box. Your Majesty, I call for a swift ruling.
I'm not ready to give my verdict yet.
Why?
The defense has successfully presented a new possibility in this case.
Yes! Finally, a tiny shred of hope. Tiny shred of hope. Tiny shred of hope.
Mr. Understanding, would you care to make any statements in response to the defense's claims? This is all bull! My noggin's a rage cage and it's ready to explode, baby! Instructor Understanding, please, calm yourself. I'm not gonna take it. No, I ain't gonna take it. I'm not gonna take it anymore. I dutifully watched over that treasure with pride. And now I'm getting accused of stealing it. This lawyer is a lying scumbag! You better believe I got something to say. Open up your ear holes, sheeple. Let's rock. Death to the lying lawyer. Death to the lying lawyer.